What a space, what a moment, what a wonderful sight this is for me to be standing here looking at all of you. Hi, Aaron. I'm looking forward to some chai. I haven't even started and I want a chai. But I knew that this has been brewing for a long time, and our wonderful Permi team from Wollongong, if they're running the chai tent, that's where you'll find me. What a pleasure to be gathered for APC 23, the year 23. I said, is this the 23rd APC? Here's to the 23rd APC when we get there. I suppose to start with, what a wonderful location the APC team have chosen, this Waldorf school, and a big thank you to them for opening up this wonderful facility for us. And it's interesting, isn't it, when you think about a location and when you think about all of these minds, each and every one of us that are here are bringing so much to this conference. And more of the conference is about what's going on from this side out as much as from that side in or back. Because anyone out the front is standing with everything that we're all bringing and the shoulders that we're reaching with and from. To take everything we're going to talk about to the next level, but of course, most of all, to take it out of this room, to take it out of this space, to take it out of this incredible orbit that we share, and the connections and the love and the knowledge that we carry. You know, look at where everyone's from and the corners that everyone brings, and whether it's publishing, whether it's education, well, it's all education, but we bring so much, and in a time of such contested information. I don't think information and knowledge has ever been more contested when you think about the influence and the spaces where people get their truth. And all of us have come to a truth around not just the principles of permaculture, but the truth of life, and how we take this storytelling out to the world. Really, that's what the cradle of this beautiful seed pod, that's what it's about over the next 3 days, is how we can draw from each other's stories, how we can take and leverage opportunity to make story relevant to 2023. And we all bring so much, and it's such a wonderful and special place on this country, and we will be going outside for the Welcome to Country, so I'm not doing this out of order. This is definitely the order of how it's going to go. The Welcome to Country will happen shortly, and I really look forward to that, because I think one of the things, when I think about the space between the last APC, think about how much that First Nations and Indigenous storytelling space is receiving more and more place in our world, in the world that we orbit, the worlds which we influence through our teaching and through our storytelling. And there's plenty of those which I'll be able to share with you that I'm orbiting in, and I know that influence, let alone the big picture one that is hanging over 2023, and our opportunity to, well, have a position on that, but also understand that it's stepping stones. There's so much going on in that space, so I really look forward to the welcome. I also want to make a welcome to all the people online. As many of you know, we're all pretty privileged to be here, in the sense that you pick a space like this, it can only fit so many people. You want it to work, you want it to be comfortable. You can't just put 2,000 people in here. So there's lots of people at home, some that wanted to come but couldn't be here, but they will be able to participate in the event by watching online and being able to contribute. So big welcome to all of you. Yeah, let's put your hands together. Just want to clean my teeth. Make sure we're looking good. And you know, when you think about that, like just when you think about that, the impact of live streaming alone in the last couple of years, you know, it's had a massive impact on the whole concept of work and workspace and life. And people, you know, now you go somewhere and it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, it's just the crazy busy time because no one's going in on a Monday and a Friday. Like this is those changes that we can influence in terms of the principles and practices that we're putting out there in the world. And these things are happening. So just having that live stream is a wonderful way to be inclusive and allow many, many more people to amplify all the stories, particularly of our keynote speakers over the next couple of days. I mentioned the wonderful people opening up Waldorf School, but also the volunteers. I mean, as I arrived, I glid up here in a special vehicle with 4 amazing people in the car, and we got to the gate, and it reminds me of when I go to schools. And one of the best things I love about going to schools is you know, particularly primary schools. High schools, it's a bit more just find your way into the classroom and we'll be there waiting. Whereas primary schools, they have a welcoming team, and it's always cool because if you're skirting around the boundary of the school and you come to this street, and then you can just see in the distance a bit of this, and then as you turn the corner, it's like they're looking down the street, and then they go, oh, he's here, you know, and then they're all doing these ones. And I can safely say that when we pulled up, and from about 40 metres away, there was, I don't know, I didn't get whose name, who was on the gate this morning? Pick a name.
Nat.
Yeah, Nat. Nat gave me that energy. And you know, that's how I feel, and that just bounced it back to me to let me know that my excitement about being here is being mirrored. So to all the volunteers, and like I got picked up from the airport, and you know, it's really humbling, you know, that here we had someone who volunteered to come down, to step away from here, to drive down to pick me up. And I was going, no. I said, I'll just get there. No, I want to be there. I want to pick you up. And it's just, that's when we volunteer and someone gives up their time, that's what's really special. And that time coming up in that car with Emma was really special. Also, given that she's got 3 children and was going to go home as well. So our capacity to be volunteers, but I think our capacity to be volunteered for, I think if we apply that in all the things we do with our life, then that reciprocation is what I was saying before about me standing here or any of our keynotes standing here are any of you and what you're doing in your capacity as a keynote with one individual, with a primary school class, with the group looking when you arrive at a place. There's a lot of capacity in this room, and we can take it a lot further through the digital world and of course through our own actions. So to get things underway, I want to introduce, well, first of all, of course, Danny, but our wonderful team here who are going to lead us into the Welcome to Country. So please welcome Danny.
Thank you. Thank you. So, hi, I'm Danny. On behalf of the Permaculture South Australia Committee, I want to start by acknowledging the Paramount people, their culture, their connection to country, their connection to all of us here at the Convergence. We're very thankful to have a welcome to country outside after this segment. But I want to thank all of the First Nations speakers and attendees who are here with us at the Convergence. We couldn't be here without you, and Permaculture couldn't be here without you. Yes. So thank you for bringing and sharing love and awareness to us all. We also want to acknowledge First Nations and Indigenous knowledge from around the world. That's shared amongst permaculture. We know in some ways and in some places, Indigenous knowledge has not always been given the recognition it deserves. So we implore everyone to research where knowledge came from and rightly give thanks to any people or culture from where it emerged. And I personally want to thank my First Nations friends who taught me when I moved here as an immigrant that all of us have ancestors who are connected to country somewhere. So Permaculture South Australia is also part of the Pay the Rent movement, where a portion of money goes to the First Nations organisations, primarily SEED, which is Australia's first Indigenous Youth Climate Network. Yeah, woo! And also towards Ghana Wara Bidnanti, the Ghana Language Board based in Adelaide. So it's been 30 years since there's been a Convergence in South Australia, and Permaculture South Australia is 40 years old. We thought you also may be interested to know that many Convergences in the past were for Permaculture Design Course, or PDC, we'll try not to use too many acronyms, but for PDC graduates, but this one has been open to all. I'm very grateful for this inclusion, particularly as Sam and I did our PDCs later in our journey. It gave us lots of renewed ideas and systems to apply to our new share farm, our workshops through Folk of All Trades, and our relationships with so many of you in the room. So whether you've been practicing permaculture and teaching it for years, decades, or even history, or if you're brand new to permaculture, we're really grateful you're here, and we're sure you all have wisdom, laugh, connections, and love to share. We can't wait to spend this Convergence with you. Thank you. I'm going to pass over to Lockie. Thanks, Lockie.
Thank you all. Great to see you all here. It's wonderful. And welcome. So my entry point into permaculture was a light bulb moment when my desire to live more responsibly, sustainably, earth-connected, respectful, and a meaningful life was matched with a system capable of achieving it. And 30 years later, here I am, here we all are. So it's great to be here to share. Permaculture itself was first launched as a self-perpetuating and evolving ecosystem of plants and animals that are useful to humans and is typified by high yields for low energy inputs. But it quickly morphed into a system of permanent culture. The Australian-made philosophy was dubbed by David Suzuki the most significant intellectual export Australia has ever made. Millions around the world practice it. Many, many, many millions more are leading richer lives through the influence of the movement. It is incorporated into national land use policies, integrated into council-level practice, and infiltrating education systems worldwide. It is used by secondary students to redesign and regenerate their towns in Wales, in towns that I can't pronounce their names. Whilst in Timor-Leste, it is part of the national primary school curriculum. Permaculture gives all of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through its implementation. With an ever-increasing amount of refugees and disasters, permaculture, especially through Permaculture for Refugees, is sharing the means for people to cope and the knowledge to enable people to hope. International development has embraced permaculture, especially in its community-based approach for creating real long-term resilience, whilst also effectively reducing and preventing disasters. engaging, spreading, and networking through a non-hierarchical, organic global structure without a governing body. Permaculture is like mycelium. Sharing this, taking that, spreading here, popping up there, integrating, inoculating, invigorating across the globe. Projects emerging like mushroom fruit, people spreading like spores. I like that one. Accelerate our actions. And while permaculture provides comprehensive design tools and skills, we also acknowledge other movements creating change in other ways. As we gather this weekend, at the same time, there are coordinated Extinction Rebellion and global justice actions in the UK, Australia, and around the world. They say, we are not defending nature, we are nature defending itself. This is also
our planet. Permaculture keeps evolving and integrating multiple disciplines, strategies, and techniques that support its ethics and design principles. Permaculture offers not only the concept of permanent culture, but diverse practical pathways for people to make their own reality. It's a practical philosophy. It offers design, methodology, tools, and systems. It is a non-formal, decentralized, it has a non-formal, decentralized education system, and we, just this week, graduated 24 new permaculture teachers with Brenna and Hannah. Permaculture is a worldwide movement involving millions of people in more than 130 countries, and it's growing exponentially. What I would like to see is that permaculture actually infiltrates and reframes in a constructive way mainstream everything: business, education, urban and rural planning, the financial world, and much more, both locally and globally. For Graham and me, it is 40 years ago that we dipped our toes in permaculture waters in May 1983. But it was the beginning of the food forest, and we're still here. Congratulations to the organizing team, who are all volunteers, every single one of them. Those volunteers made this APC in South Australia happen. And we thank them for the extraordinary energy, deep thought, and permacultural creativity that has been put into conceiving and delivering both the festival last night and the whole of the Convergence. Thank you. Of Permaculture SA, now declare the Convergence open. I now hand over to Sam.
Thanks, Anna-Marie. Hello, I'm here to give you some need-to-know information. I've also sprinkled some permaculture principles amongst these details, so please keep an ear out for them and see if you can tick off all 12. In order to minimise disturbance during the sessions, please pop your phone on silent or vibrate. And if you're like me and you'll forget to change it between sessions, maybe just leave it that way all day. First, food. There'll be amazing food all weekend, thanks to our wonderful caterers, growers, and producers that have caught and stored this energy. Hopefully you remembered your crockery and cutlery, otherwise you may need to design from patterns to details and carve yourself a wooden bowl and spoon. There's no food to be taken inside the presentation spaces. That's a school policy, so please requirements, except if you've been communicating with one of the core team directly about your particular allergies. In this case, you already know what to do. We hope you enjoy the food so much that you lick the plate clean and barely have to do any washing up. But if there are things left over, please use the green organics and other bins provided so we produce no waste. For tea and coffee, there are self-service areas to use your BYO cup for percolated coffee and a selection of herbal teas. So feel free to use and value diversity in your beverage choice. If you are an espresso fiend or love the taste of deliciously spiced chai like Costa does, these are available for purchase. The profits from the chai tent are all going to be donated to Permafund. That's amazing. Please volunteer photographer for an hour or two. Nat has a professional camera you can sign out at the hub. Speaking of the hub, you can use and value renewable resources and services by visiting there for information for lost property, first aid, sunscreen, and a friendly face. It's the 6x3 white marquee out there on the lawn by the central Karkala. In addition to the official program, where you certainly obtain a yield of information, there are also chalkboard sessions that anyone can organise, which will be a great way to use and value diversity we have in the attendees of this. A couple of quick updates to the program. The neighbourhood mapping session at 3:10 p.m. today in the Pomegranate space has been cancelled, unfortunately, and Tamar Cordova's session just after that will be live streamed rather than in person. Next to the hub I just mentioned, you'll find the large chalkboard where you can self-nominate to facilitate a talk, a workshop, a chat, or a brainstorm. We're calling these chalkboard sessions, and there'll be one space available for every slot in the program except for keynotes. There's no audio-visual equipment for the chalkboard session, so everything's going to be old school. Please only lead one topic per session or per person to give other people a chance to share their passion too. You might want to look at this during the first break, as I'm going to try and lock in a carving session for people to learn how to create a tent peg on Monday. There's a remembrance tree available for you to remember those that are no longer with us. Feel free to contribute that in the form of notes and other organic materials to convey your thoughts and memories. Everything placed there will be composted at the end of the Convergence, so it can create, and that's going to be curated by Ian Lillington, and he's then going to create a document that can be shared digitally after the APC. A few fun norms, if you happen to see people doing. Oh, you permies catch on quick. That means an MC or presenter is trying to get everyone's attention, an example of a small and slow solution to quietening a raucous crowd. And feel free to use this action, which is borrowed from the deaf community, to show your appreciation or agreement while someone's talking or after they've finished. Traditional hand slapping will also be accepted. This is really crucial for keeping to time and shows respect to the people that are presenting next in that space or elsewhere. The olive, so feel free to watch from there if you'd like a bit more space. It's an edge space that has value by being marginal. Self-organising is a key theme of the Convergence, so we encourage you to be part of our do-ocracy. If you see something that needs doing, and you can do it safely, please do it, or let someone know who might. An example might be if you happen to see a teapot that hasn't been emptied after use, think about integrating rather than segregating this task. We have volunteers, so please follow the 3 before me rule and ask 3 people before going to a volunteer if it's something that's going to be easy to answer. If you want to help out over the Convergence more formally, please see Nat, the volunteer coordinator, at the hub during morning tea. And finally, some preliminary thank yous to our wonderful sponsors. We really, really appreciate the support. To the speakers who are giving their time, knowledge, and expertise to make this an incredibly valuable learning experience. And you spectacular attendees for being here with open hearts and open minds. And if anything goes wrong, creatively use and respond to change. I'll hand back to Costa.
Thanks, Sam. Oh, sorry about that. Wow. Can I have a big round of applause for Sam, Danny, Lockie, and Anne-Marie for setting us underway. It was all very understated when he said there's been thousands of hours. I'm sure there's been a lot more than thousands, and it just gets deeper and deeper. I sometimes find myself getting so deep in it, I forget why I was in there. And I enjoyed that. You got me. I was lost in that mycelium thread, kilometres in a tunnel. And because I don't know whether it's going to be a square or a round peg. But while I was here, can everyone just be quiet? Well, you are actually, but can everyone just listen? Hear past the hum of technology. Project through my right ear upwards. I can hear knitting needles. Mary Heath, ladies, gentlemen. You know, when I'm in this situation, I'm listening for everything, and I could hear this. So if there was any funny little pauses when I was speaking earlier, it was because I was going, what is that? Where is that? And then I looked up, and sure enough, I saw Mary there, and Sam, you know, I think, you know, to continue your theme, that is a small and slow solution. Definitely. So, Mary, thank you for the soundtrack for the opening of APC 23.